Hello, my name's Jess. Now I don't know about you, but I love to listen to stories before bedtime. In here, there are lots of stories about some characters you may know. Have you heard of the Three Little Pigs? Well, in here, there are lots of stories about their adventures. Shall we start with the first one? The Three Little Pigs, an adaptation by Vicky Jackson. Once upon a time, there were three little pigs called Pinky, Curly, and Patch, who lived in a little house with their mother. One day, their mother said to them, "You're all getting too big to live with me. It's time you went out into the world and made homes of your own." So the next day, the three little pigs set out into the wide world. "Goodbye, my little pigs," their mother said. "Remember to be careful of the big bad wolf who lives in the woods, because little pigs are his favourite meal." "We'll be careful," promised the three little pigs as they set off down the road. They hadn't been walking for long when the first little pig, Pinky, decided to stop and build himself a house in a little clearing near the woods. Pinky was a lazy little pig, and he didn't like hard work, so he decided to build himself a house of straw. It wasn't very strong, and it definitely wasn't wolf-proof, but before long he had finished building it, so it was at least quick and easy to build. Pinky was very pleased with his new house, and he decided to find out how his brothers were getting on with their houses. He hadn't gone far before he found Curly, who was building himself a house of sticks. Just like Pinky, Curly was also a lazy little pig, and he didn't like hard work either, so he had chosen to build himself a stick house. It wasn't much stronger than the straw house, and it definitely wasn't wolf-proof either. But, like the straw house, it was quick and easy to build. Before long, Curly had finished building his stick house. Pinky and Curly decided to find Patch and see whether he had finished building his house. Unlike the other two, Patch was a clever, hard-working little pig, and he remembered their mother's warning about the big bad wolf, so he had decided to build his house of bricks. It wasn't fast or easy, and Patch had to work long and hard to finish it, but at least he knew it would keep the big bad wolf out. When the two lazy pigs saw Patch hard at work, they laughed and laughed, but Patch knew better, and he reminded them of their mother's warning about the big bad wolf. The next day, Pinky was sitting outside his little straw house, daydreaming, when out of the woods came the big bad wolf. Pinky squealed and ran into his little straw house, slamming the door shut behind him. The big bad wolf went up to the little straw house. Little pig, open the door and let me in," he called. "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," shouted Pinky, trembling in fright. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in," growled the big bad wolf. And he huffed and puffed and blew the little straw house down. With a squeal of fright, Pinky ran off down the road towards his brother's house of sticks. He ran inside and slammed the door behind him. The two little pigs watched the big bad wolf running down the road towards the little stick house. Little pigs, open the door and let me come in," he called. "Not by the hair of our chinny chin chin," answered the two little pigs, peering out through the window of the stick house. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in," growled the big bad wolf. He huffed and puffed and blew the little stick house down. The two little pigs squealed in fright and ran as fast as they could down the road to their brother's brick house. They ran inside and slammed the door behind them. "You were right," they said to Patch. "Our houses weren't strong enough. The big bad wolf has blown them both down and he's right behind us." "Well, he won't get in here," said Patch. "My brick house is too strong for him to blow down, so you're both safe." Suddenly, there was a knock at the door, and the big bad wolf's voice called out, little pigs, open the door and let me come in." Not by the hair of our chinny chin chin, said the three little pigs together. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in, growled the wolf. He took a deep breath and huffed and puffed, and huffed and puffed, and huffed and puffed, but nothing happened. The little brick house didn't blow down. The big bad wolf took a bigger, deeper breath and huffed and puffed as hard as he could. He blew and blew and blew until he had no breath left. But the little brick house still didn't move a bit. This made the big bad wolf very angry. He looked at the house, trying to think of a way to get inside and get the three little pigs. If I can't blow the house down, I'll climb up on the roof and go down the chimney instead, he said with a wicked grin. But the three little pigs heard the wolf climbing onto the roof. Patch filled a big pot with water and hung it over the fire to boil. The big bad wolf had climbed onto the roof. "Here I come, little pigs," he growled, and with a whoosh he slid down the chimney and landed right in the pot of boiling water. Yo! The big bad wolf leapt right out of the pot of water and raced out of the little brick house and away into the woods, clutching his burnt bottom. Ow! Ouch! Ouch! Oh, ow! The three little pigs lived happily together in the little brick house, and the big bad wolf never bothered them again. Or did he? The end. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to the next adventure already. But for now, I think it's bedtime, don't you? Night, night.